Out they ride like, what's up, little homie? I was kinda nervous, I ain't had nothing on me. No gun or a blade, my face gave it away. And all I could really think of a whole duck with a spade. Damn, now that's 6 feet deep.
Alright, so you can peep the intro song by going to YouTube or Google. That's typing in Hoodrich 5 a.m. in Chicago. Dude's dope. Anyway, what's going on, all you hip-hop heads? It's been a bit since I've been in it, but today I'm bringing you a brand new interview. Today I'm joined with Nate Williams. You already know how we do. I'm gonna ask Nate some questions, have him talk on some things, let you in on who he is as an artist. But first things first, the music being played currently is Nate's. You can go check that out at www.reverbnation.com/NateWilliams6. If you like more of the more mobile-friendly devices and stuff, you can check out his music on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Nate-Williams-111. That's 3 1s. So, alright, go ahead and tell them where you're at, man, what you represent, stuff like that.
Hey, it's Nate Williams. I'm originally from Lake Ariel, Pennsylvania, but I'm currently living in Hazleton, Pennsylvania. I'm a member of the rap group Bipolar. I also have another group called MAB Gang. I'm working on the Bipolar project right now, and as well as my first solo project.
That's awesome, dude. It's awesome. It's really hard, you know, when you have to find the time for everything. Organization is important. It's key.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So, go ahead, man. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
Just had a son not too long ago. I have 3 children now, so it's a lot of figuring out when I can sneak out, get in the studio, knock a couple tracks out.
Right. Well, congratulations on your son, man.
Thank you very much.
All right. So, like, the first question I wanted to ask is, being an artist isn't easy, obviously. As you already said, you know, you have to take time out of your day to get into the studio and stuff like that. But change, I feel, is the hardest thing to overcome. It's a daily strain, and to always adapt to new things and always trying to stay versatile and fresh. So what's your perspective on change? Do you feel like change is a necessary step in being an artist? What do you feel needs to change? Politically, personal, whatever?
I've only been rapping consistently for 3 years. So I noticed a huge change in my delivery, my content, and what how I present myself as an artist. Change is very good. At first I was like, no, I'm dope. No, when I started hearing people around me, I'm like, no, it's okay I have to step it up. So change has to happen. Had to happen for me to get better, and had to humble myself is another thing that really was a big thing for me. That you can always learn something to better your craft and perfect your craft. So change is a big part of my music, actually.
Right. What would you say the hardest obstacle is for you that you've had to overcome as a musician? And if so, what advice would you have to other artists to possibly overcome that obstacle if they ever face it?
Obstacle, my issue for a long time was finding a person who could engineer my music and do it the way I wanted it to sound. A lot of people, and when I first started, would just mix and master any way the way they felt the record should go, and I had to open my mouth. But as an artist, I was also a lot more diss track happy when I first started. I would just attack anybody who said my name. And now I'm a lot more selective. I have to respect the person as an MC before I even think about responding. And it's a lot of wasted energy. That's wasting your time to go to the studio, in writing. I don't want to waste quality bars on someone who doesn't deserve it. That's another thing I had to learn to pick my battles.
So do you feel like beef is something that's unnecessary in hip hop, or do you like, what's your opinion on beefing rappers? Because, you know, in hip hop there's always a lot of like beef, but I don't think people really realize that a lot of the beef is not personal. I mean, some of it can get personal, it can bleed out into personal lives, but a lot of it's not really personal. It's a competitive thing. It's the same thing as if, like, you know, a basketball player is taking a shot at another basketball player. It's just very competitive. So people always reference other artists and also I think it's a way for them to kind of gain attention to that one particular track when they say something like some famous artist's name or some well-known underground artist's name or something like that.
Right. Those kinds of things are purely for attention. Like when you're start up and comer, mentioning names of people who are already out there. That's just for attention, and that's lessening your artistic integrity. Now, if you have a legitimate issue with someone, and you don't want to be ignorant, you don't want to be barbaric and beat the crap out of them if you could, then you do a diss track. That makes more sense to me. And like the whole Meek Mill and Drake thing, that's just to promote album sales. Like for me, you have to really say something impressive for me to say your name on the track. That's just me.
Right.
Yeah. You'd have to be able to outright me. That's how I would. If anybody ever wants a diss track, like.
Like I said, a lot of it's just a respect thing. Like
right.
a lot of people don't realize that a lot of this shit's planned beforehand. Like
exactly.
There's even occasions that I've had people want me to diss them. Now I'm not going to say any names, but I've had somebody say, I want you to diss me so we can start this beef so that people will, focus in on our music. I've never done that. I mean, I have dissed people, but it was for legitimate personal concerns of something they might have said either to my friends, to my other artists, or my team.
Correct.
To correct that, rectify that, and be like, look, man, you don't want this, right? You don't want to test this heat. But a lot of it is just a bunch of rappers who sit there cackling at all these people who are like, oh my god, they're gonna fight, and it's like, no, you don't realize this is just a ruse, man. It's a facade. It's not true. It's not. None of that's true.
And then when it does get real, people are like, well, why don't you guys think about Tupac and Biggie?
Right.
Okay, number one, most of the time the people that are beefing aren't on that caliber, so there's no point in saying those prolific artists' names. Like I had a long-standing beef with a guy out here, and now he's in jail for life. That's not my problem. Like I'm not even an issue in my mind anymore. Like that's a sad situation for him, but it doesn't matter anymore. Like beefs come and go. Like it's like my thing is don't give people that much space in your head because it takes away from your music.
Absolutely, and it's giving them attention at the same time, especially if you've got a bigger audience than they do. You're giving them attention. I mean, even when Eminem dissed Haystack, Haystack was a pretty big artist, especially coming from Tennessee, because I'm from Tennessee, so Haystack was pretty big. But when he dissed Eminem and stuff like that, even though Eminem dissed him back, it was still kind of like, wow, like you gave him that attention, you gave him that. Wow, dude, really? Like, holy crap, you got dissed by Eminem. So that being said, I mean, mainstream artists, I feel like, shouldn't be like automatically idolized and put on this big pedestal or anything like that, because they are just people. But
exactly. That brings why promote people who don't know you exist? Why give those people free promotion?
Right.
That's what I feel. Like if you're an artist, promote yourself. It's nice to like their songs. It's not saying don't listen to mainstream artists. It's just why give them promotion when you could use those efforts towards yourself.
Right, and going into like mainstream artists and stuff like that. What do you think about the current state of hip hop? Like, if you could change something about it, if you feel like there needs something needs to be changed, what would it be and why?
A sense of community and support, real support. Like going out and buying another person's album, collaborating, making it organic. Like a lot of times I feel collaborations that we see as the consumer is very, this makes sense. This will make us money. Why can't there be more? I think more organic collaborations and more of a sense of community. Because children are looking at these people. Children are impressionable. They're watching these people making these moves. Why not make the best move possible? Why not do something positive? It's so easy to do the wrong thing. Why not if you put enough effort towards it, the right thing can translate and inspire others. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Why not? I think that's a big thing. Collaboration and community.
Right, and I agree. I believe that it's hard to look to the mainstream and find something that feels more real. I always said this, and this is kind of a stretch, but I've always said that mainstream's like the tree. You know, it is this beautiful thing to look at, and all the beautiful things just grow on this tree, and it's very beautiful, right, to look at. But beneath that is the rugged underground, is the raw thing that keeps that tree alive, which the tree would be hip hop. So that keeps the thing alive, and that's the roots, right? And that's where everything is real. It is the real, just the rugged nastiness and the aggressiveness and all the artists coming together to make something that just seems more real. And I always say, like, it would be cool to see somebody from this beautiful tree, this beautiful representation of hip hop, and this somebody who's idolized, to work with somebody from like the underground, and show them that they are real. Like, this is a real thing. The problem has come from that hip hop started from something that was artistic, but now it's more entertainment. It's no longer it's no longer just an art form. It's now an image. I have a slogan that I've been working with, is that shut up and rap. That's what I've been saying. Anytime I hear someone talk negatively and they're another rapper, shut up and rap. If you have an issue, shut up and rap. That's your job. You say you're an artist, prove it. I don't care about how you feel you do it. If you I want proof. Prove it. Prove your skills. Go back to when it was about proving how well you can control a crowd, how well you can deliver, how what you're saying, those punchlines and wordplay. Like, prove it. Everybody out here is saying, "Oh, I can do this. I'm making this move." Execute. Don't just do it. Just rap. If you're a rapper, rap. There's no one. We don't need you to tell us your next move. Just execute and surprise the fans. I agree that execution is important, and acting, making a move is important too. But just talking about making a move isn't going to get you anywhere. I think what a lot of people do is they sit and they dream, and they say, "I got this dream, and I want to be big. I want to be a rapper. I want to be a singer." But they never say, I'm gonna be, right? Or they never they never put in effort. I would never disrespect somebody who's coming in new to hip hop or something, and even if they were whack, right? Even if they were just terrible at delivery and flow, because I was there. I mean, if anybody goes to my Reverb Nation, you can go to my oldest songs, and they were utterly crap. They were terrible, but I keep them on there so people can see that progression comes with the ability to progress, the motivation to progress. If I would have looked at that song, and because there was a point in my life where I said, "This is the best song I've ever made," and it's not. It was not.
Been there.
And when you look at that now, you're like, whoa. If you can look back on your old music and go, whoa, what was I thinking? Why was I rapping about drugs, or why was I rapping about this stupid stuff? Like, I don't understand what was going through my mind. But it's because people first I found that when new artists come in, the first thing they do is they try to, I think they do it subconsciously, but they cling to something like an image or an artist that they know very well. Like, some people will cling to like Pun or something like that, and they'll try to mimic that. But I've never tried to cling to anything as I progressed. I've always tried to. Now I'll look at different flows, and I'm like, that's an interesting style, and I'll take it and try to break it down and implement that into my flow. But all in all, I feel like it's like an MMA mix. It's like a mix and match. You just take things from other rappers and what you hear, and you just put it into your own style, so people are like, that's unique. But it still kind of sounds like something that I used to listen to. So it's funny for me. I listen to an eclectic mix of MCs, and I get a lot of times I get compared to, or I sound, quote unquote, sound like MCs that I've never listened to. And it's the weirdest thing. I've always gotten it. Like, for the longest time, I got Tyler the Creator. I'm like, why? Oh, your voice. I'm like,
my voice doesn't. I'm not anywhere near that deep of a voice. Number one, and I don't talk about whatever he's talking about. I'm not sure what it is. I'm like, but I do like his music. As I kept hearing it, I'm like, okay, let me see what this is about. And one song I get, Royce the 5'9", and that's a huge compliment. I'm like, for a while there, I'm like, I had a huge ego about it. I'm like, yeah, Royce. I'm like, wait, I'm not there yet. Never mind. So I had to humble myself.
Well, comparisons are going to be made. Always. There's always going to be somebody trying to compare you to someone else. But you have to realize that until you get to the point where your fan base is large enough to say that this is me, right? Whatever your rap name is, whatever it is, they'll say that's him, right? That's him. And until they say that, they're gonna compare you to other artists who are bigger than you because they know those artists or they grew up with those artists.
Right.
Speaking of growing and progressing, what's your main goal as an artist? Like, what is that's it, like the biggest thing you can achieve, the biggest milestone you can achieve as an artist, besides, of course, just making it, making yourself a business and actually receiving revenue and stuff for stuff that you do.
Putting on for my team, putting on for this area. In northeastern Pennsylvania, there's a lot of talent, and I feel like it's untapped and there's not a light shine on it, and so I would want to give back to the MCs that have pushed me and have supported me. I would want to give back to the community in general, not just the MCs, but this area, because it's influenced a lot of my music, a lot of my style. So I would want to give back more than anything.
Right, and that's a good goal to have. A lot of people want to ask that question. Some of them will say, "Oh, give back." I don't think I've had anyone yet just be like, "I just want to be rich. I just want bitches, man." But there's somebody out there. There's somebody out there who's just gonna come out with it and be like, "Yeah, I don't know. Bugatti seems nice." I'm not that type of person, to be honest. Like, if I would be the type of person if I had that much money. Like Floyd Mayweather money, I couldn't have that much. I would be too overwhelmed with that.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't do it.
Exactly.
I would have to give some of it away. Like, I would give a lot of it away. Like,
I would just look at it. I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
Right. Like, $1 million to me is a lot. So like, I would think, what could I buy? Like, with $1 million, like, that's a lot. And then you think about like 280 million, and you're like, holy no, I can't. I'm a fat kid in my heart, so I'd be like, that's a lot of McChickens. Right.
I could buy a lot of McChickens with this money.
I'm having a heart attack tonight.
Yes.
What inspired you?
I could buy.
You were talking a lot about coming from Pennsylvania. You were talking a lot about coming from an area that seems untapped and there's a lot of unrecognized talent. Growing up like that, what inspired you to keep making music? Like, was there an artist that you just related to heavily that was like your biggest inspiration?
Joe Budden. Joe Budden was, okay, Eminem, Rakim, Joe Budden, Scarface. That's it's a weird mix of people, but yeah, mainly Eminem because of his anger and his wordplay. So that was a big one. And then Rakim for his style.
Right. Is that so?
That
just
was big.
just them.
Those two mainly. And Nas. Oh my! I almost forgot Nas. Jeez.
Oh, Nas. Yeah, yeah. Nas was a big. I didn't really grow up too heavily on the Jay-Z versus Nas era, but I had I had people who listened to Pac, Nas, Jay, Pun, all them, right? And I remember, I believe it was Stillmatic. Nas was just a big inspiration to me. Like, listening to him on Ether, like, diss Jay like that, I was like,
that was
how?
crazy.
Like, I was like, oh man, because like when Jay dissed Nas, you listen to Jay dissing Nas, and if you have no idea about Ether, just listen to it, and you're like, he's done. And then you listen to Nas's Ether, and you're like, oh man, like people in the room were like, oh my, whoa. And then Jay was just like, I can't, I've got to sign him, you know? So like, I got to sign him. Like that inspired me, because it's like, this is a dude
I actually listened to he actually responded after Ether. Not many people know about the song because he kind of hit it. It's called Super Ugly, and it's hilarious because that trademark Jay-Z confidence had been sucked out of him. He was just rhyming to rhyme.
Right.
It was hilarious.
No, and I remember that because all he was talking about was Nas's bitch. Like, that's all he would talk about. And I'm like, dude, you don't, that's like the first step. Like, you took a step backwards, man. Like, and I was like just overwhelmed with the idea that somebody that everybody doubted, right, that everybody thought was just over, right, just came back like 100 times harder. And I was like, that's something that I would want to do. I want to be that indifferent person where everybody's like, nah, you ain't gonna do anything, you ain't ever gonna do anything, you just sit down, and then you're like, nah, I'm gonna show you, let's bring it. And then you put it all on the table, and it's just like, oh man, holy wow. So yeah, speaking of like artists that inspired you and you know, music in general, if somebody didn't hear your music, which, you know, there's people listening who are obviously going to go check you out, or that, you know, they haven't listened to your music, how would you define your music to somebody? Like, what would you define your music as, if you could? You know, how would you define it?
Reality rap. I said this before, I'll say it again. I would never expect someone to buy something that's inauthentic, that's not real. I wouldn't put anything out there that I would say, oh, I was lying on that. Like, it's a lot of reality rap. Like, I'm very open about who I am, especially my imperfections. Like, my whole album, the album that I'm working on now, is called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. And a lot of people expected me to do a traditional rap, like just bars. And they're like, no, this is a concept record. It's about life and how fragile life is, and how the things that you hold in can consume you if you don't discuss them with somebody, at least one person. So, and music is my outlet. So this is my way. This is my introduction to people who want to listen to reality rap. But like, I'm putting it all on the table. Even if you have, like in a conversation with me, you'll get the same content. So I guess we'd call it reality rap.
Right. No, then that's good.
It takes too much energy to lie. So I wouldn't do that. So.
Right, and that's good. That's good that you're speaking on something that's more emotional. This might just be my opinion. I mean, party music's great sometimes. You know, if you're just wanting to get hyped up before something, I can understand that. I'm more of a person, because like before I started the whole I want to be a rapper thing, because of the aggression and just the grit, the raw feeling that you get whenever you're into rapping, you're into the game, and you're just kind of it's the adrenaline of it that really pulled me towards hip hop. But that, and you know, I had a lot of people who listen to hip hop, so it really influenced me. But the thing is I was like really into like poetry beforehand. Like I really enjoyed reading poetry and just being like, this stuff's deep as fuck. He's talking about killing somebody or something, but he's doing it with just words. He's painting this image, you know, like a painting.
Exactly.
And I always loved like hip hop artists who could just paint. Like they just paint an image, or they just like make you feel whatever they're feeling, and you kind of feel those shoes. Like you were
right there.
Right.
Like that rhyme was a time capsule. They're bringing you right in that moment with them. Like the smells, the taste, the picture. Like that's my goal, to have a rhyme so dope that you're like, why am I in the room with him? Why am I here?
Right.
That's not my experience. Like, you question if you were really there with me. That's why I want to have a dope rhyme like that.
Right, and I love like music like that. Even like listening to your music like Sinner's Prayer and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, this shit's deep. You know, like yeah, like relating music that relates to somebody is great. And that being said, there are like diss tracks and just bars that I listen to that I'm like, damn, you know, like damn, you know, like how do I achieve that level of wordplay? But like I said, I'm just more at home as a person, just with listening to something that I can like. You kind of like just fill the shoes of that person. You know, you put their shoes on and you just walk with them a little bit, and you're like, that's cool. That's dope.
That's the whole feeling of the album, and it's like I'm kind of like, if you were next to me, I'm like sliding you my journal, because I'm not a very, like, in person, I'm not a very talkative person. Like, I'm friendly, but I'm not social. So writing helps me to communicate. So that's my way of this. I mean, this album is a really big way for me to really speak. It's a little bit different from my bipolar stuff, the stuff I'm doing with my friend Blade, he's like a legend in northeastern PA hip hop, which is like, it's crazy how we even got making this project. So it's more for me. The bipolar is more the funny Nate, the random Nate. Like it's more test of my pen, whereas Feelings Buried Alive is more somber, more like kind of in the vein of Sinner's Prayer and God Bless the Dead, more like that.
Right, and it's always good to kind of get something that, you know, just feels real, like you said, organic stuff like that. And it's also good to kind of mix it up. I feel like, because I've gotten shit before. I've gotten shit before for, like, because for a long time I was making, like, music, like, emotional music, you know, aggressive music. And then one day I decided I was going to remix 0 to 100. And so I remixed it, and, you know, I got some good criticism from it. Some people liked it, some people hated it. It was kind of mixed. But I remember getting this message from a friend of mine, and he was like, why did you, what was with the mix up there? Like, you were like talking about, you know, because you were like talking about how hard life is, and then all of a sudden you're like 0 to 100 real quick. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It's just emotion, you know. It's what you feel sometimes. And I heard that song, and I was like, you know, I could remix this. I could make it pop or something, you know, or make people realize that.
Put your own spin on it.
Right,
put
right.
your heart on it.
Be more versatile, you know.
That's definitely a beat I would want it. I've been tempted to rhyme over.
Right, and it's like,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just kind of like versatility, and a lot of it with me is, it's not like that's something. I think these people get this image, right? Like that as soon as you try something new, like that's gonna be you all the way. And it's like, no. It's just something that I'm trying and testing with the public. So if it works, then that's something I could also do. But if it doesn't work, then I know that, hey, that's just not my craft, right? I need to stick to what I'm good at. But dabbing in new stuff teaches you new things, and it teaches you how to kind of form your own style and image. Not to wrap this up or anything, it's been great talking to you, dude. You're a really wise dude. Like I said, you could check out his music at SoundCloud at Nate-Williams-31. That's 111. Also at Reverb Nation. That's reverbnation.com/NateWilliams6.
Nice talking to you, man.
It's been great, man. Do you want to give any shout-outs to your team or shout-outs to anybody?
Shout out to Blade, Cash Concha, Doc Noose, the KP, who's got a show in Pottsville tonight, Mercy Gang, Stallion, and that's about it.
All right, well, I'll see you later, man. It's been great talking to you. Hope you have a good day.
Right. You too.